Hello everyone, Death Stimulator here, bringing you some more naval action. So today, this will be the first day that I'm playing on the new patch. This has changed up quite a few things, and I might just go over some of the patch notes now, for those of you who haven't read them, like myself, until recently. So the biggest thing to note at the moment is boarding is switched off. You can't board other ships. This means that you basically can't capture other ships unless you completely wipe out their crew. And if you wipe out their crew, it counts as you having captured the ship, so you don't even need to board it. Next, of course, there's a bunch of bugs that have come in. New trader vessels, the trader Lynx and the trader Cutter. And I'm just reading this off, by the way. Grape's been reworked and apparently works properly now. So my understanding of this, and I haven't had a chance to test it, is that making sure you hit a ship in the rear will work as it's intended. You know, that shots are actually going to go through the ship at its weakest point. You don't have to. There's not this whole issue with armor and stuff like that. And of course, my personal favorite is that mass now has an influence on collision. So if you're kind of designed to be hitting other ships, you're going to hit other ships. It's pretty good. Bowsprits have been changed a bit so they don't break off as much. The actual biggest change is going to be with repairs. They've been reworked in a persistent and open world. And the way this now works is there are two types of repairs you can do in battle. There's standard repair, which repairs sails and armor, and I believe cannons. And then there is module repair, which will repair things like your rudder and your magazine and that sort of stuff. And both of these have a cooldown, and this is a persistent cooldown. It's 10 minutes real time. So 10 minutes in battle. If you use it and 5 minutes go past and then you exit and then you get into another battle, you can't do it again for another 5 minutes. So it carries over. Cannon upgrades have changed. So some ships can't get certain types of cannons and carronades and that sort of thing. You can't get all carronade ships of the line, I think, is one of the big ones. You can now go into port, go to your outpost, and select what outpost you want to be teleported to. There's mixed opinions on that one. Some people feel very strongly about it, don't feel it should be in the game at all. I think I'll just have to wait and see how I feel about it, to be honest. It's something that I will... Yeah, I'll just need to see how things go with it. I like the idea, but it makes it almost a little bit too easy to get around. And I think as things begin to gear up with the game and you actually have port capture, territorial control, bigger player base being a big one, at the moment we've got 82 people online. You start getting, hundreds of people online. The ability to move around the world is going to become a commodity. It's going to be something that, should be rare rather than just being able to go anywhere. And 7-hour cooldown, it's all right, but it's not great. We've got some friendly ships over here, so we might jump in and join them, if we still can. In the meantime, I'll just go on with this income and XP, but there's a breakdown screen now. There's more, you get more, so this bottom one here, 7,008 gold and 511 XP. That was me just chasing and shooting a surprise. I did not capture it, I did not sink it, it got away. And it was a player, but that's very, very nice. On top of everything else, what do we have? Auto hail, which is good. Some changes. There's a note on the patch list that surrender does not destroy durability. However, I think that's actually been patched again, so it now does. So just be wary with your surrendering. If you can afford to lose a durability, that's fine. But just, be careful with that, because I think they changed it in a hot fix. Ports consume resources. So trading works to a degree, which is great. Ports produce things, ports use things up. Okay, and you can't buy a vessel in a port that you don't have an outpost in if you're in a ship. Okay, yeah, they did some tweaks to colorblind mode. All items in hold are lost if you sink, so that's an important one. You don't want to actually carry stuff around with you anymore, even if you have durability. And a note, actually, for future stuff, once you're able to board again, apparently boarding a ship you get 50% of the resources. That's good. They fixed some bugs. Grape and chain don't cause leaks. Items no longer lost if you move from one ship back to another. There's a bunch of stuff with tunings. So teleport's now 120 seconds. NPCs spawn faster after death in open world. Penetrate shot damage decreased. Yacht crew increased to 40. First rate's turning speed increased slightly. Double shot extra damage nerfed by half. And double shot reload increased by 10%. So that's pretty good. Penetrated shot damage decreased to the opposite broadside. So it's much harder to blow down both sides with a single broadside. If that makes sense. So you know when you shoot a ship, like this one in front of us, I'm hitting it on the left side, the port side, and the damage goes through to the right. It doesn't go, not as much goes through anymore, which is pretty sweet. You know, naturally it makes it hard. It does make it a little bit harder to sink someone, but I think it's a good change overall. So as you can see, I'm barely knocking down the other side. And naturally that damage went up as I reduced their armor. Sorry, I was just trying to slow myself down there a little bit. So, one of the notes, I guess I've never encountered because I haven't put anything up for sale, but you can put a ship up for sale for 10 days. Which, for those of you who did that, you know, there's something a bit nicer now. You can have it up for longer. I guess there's no great rush to sell the vessel. Though, ultimately, that's probably going to be pointless, as I'm still fairly certain that they'll be doing a hard reset. Eventually. Though how far the way the next hard reset is, I don't know. Naturally, so yeah, there's no boarding, so it doesn't actually matter how close you get to someone. As you can see here, it's not coming up despite our speeds being fairly low. I think the tolerance is 5, but even if we here drop down to 2, yep, it's not the case. I'm just stopping here so I can get a reload off in time to hit this vessel. So all in all, it's pretty good. Nice little patch. I'm very happy. And as you can see here, that's the thing I forgot to mention, repairs. Repairs cost 1,000 gold, you purchase up to 30 in port, and with the 10-minute timer you can just use them once every 10 minutes, in open world or in-game. So if the battle goes for 50 minutes, you can use 5 repairs. And you can use as many as you want, you're not restricted. The biggest thing, though, is that... sorry, I thought I was getting shot at by my ally there. The biggest thing is, of course, that a standard ship repair, or one repair ship, does both armor and sails. So if you've just got your sails down, and you need to, so if you're trying to run or something, you need to get that repair. It makes your armor very vulnerable once that repair's gone off and fixed your sails. At the same time, it does actually make running a little bit easier. You're not... how do I put it? You're not locked in as much. So if your sails go down to 70%, you pop that repair, and they go back up, and running is more effective. And, you know, as long as you can run for that 10 minutes, then you can get another repair off. And with the other repair, well, you should be... oh, a little bit of lag there. With the other repair, you know... sorry, in the past, because it used to be 2, once you'd use 2, that was it. Whereas now, you just have to hold out and use another repair and so on and so forth. I've only got 4 with me because I'm fairly conservative in my play. Plus, I'd like to look at spending money, potentially getting the new ship that's in the game, the Pavel. The St. Paul. Because I think Paul is Pavel in some languages. At least that was the consensus when I was talking with some people on TeamSpeak earlier. I'm just showing my ignorance of language, really. So as you can see, I had a bit of collision and our bowsprit did not pop off, which is great. So, it's been a fairly good battle so far. Haven't really talked much about what's going on, but basically we've solidly won. We ourselves haven't taken too many hits. There goes the bowsprit. Are they sinking on their own, or are we actually dragging them under? Yeah, it looks like they're sinking on their own. Lovely. Oh no, it was us. Okay. A bit of clipping, because our quality isn't quite so high, and we're only doing it at 30 FPS. Just because the computer cannot handle it, unfortunately. Not the best graphics card on this thing. Alright, well, we will actually only consider popping a repair. This actually might hit us, I think. Yeah, ouch. Alright, so now we're definitely going to pop a repair. It's 1,000 gold. It's quite a bit. We aren't far from port, and it would be much cheaper just to get repairs at port. But it does 40% repair, which is pretty good. And it really does make you, I guess, consider money more, with repairs being so expensive. Right. Well, this is pretty much over. I'll just fire off a pot shot over there because they'll probably sink before we can get near them. Yeah, well, our shots are falling well short of them. Yep, so that repair didn't quite get the front of our ship, which is alright. But the days of free repairs are gone. No more can you jump into a battle. I think that was my bad, actually. No more can you jump into a battle with a lynx to get your ship to full health to save you repairing at port. And I suppose it's a good thing, even if it does make costs a little bit more painful. And we've gotten ourselves stuck. Am I lagging or something? No, it looks like they're just going to let the ship sink of its own volition, which I suppose is fine. I'm going to sit here so I can leave once that ship goes down. Ah, okay. Actually, this might be worth sticking around to watch. I think they're going to have a look at which of the ships is faster. So Dutch Dutchery is in a Pavel, and Mikhail is in a Pavel as well. All right. So we'll just watch this in home cam. I'll try to keep it at a reasonable pace. Now, I'll have to check with them. What they're comparing actually, because presumably it's modules. Alright. Yep, so upgrades, no upgrades, frigate. Don't know if it's frigate without upgrades or with upgrades. And by the looks of it, they're going a couple of degrees off the wind. I really shouldn't be so lazy and actually get myself turned around. So, yeah, about 10 or 15 degrees off the wind. This is the new ship. It's very, very pretty. And I believe it's considered a four deck. So you've actually got this one up here. Yeah. And then, so your first deck, second, third, and fourth. It's very nice. No figurehead though. And triple masts. No particular decorations. No. I suppose. Actually, yes. I thought I was really stuck, to be honest. Alright, so they've started. So we're technically a bit of a disadvantage, but at the same time we also already had speed on them. So, we'll just go to home cam. We're not going to be changing up too much. And as we can see, the frigate's a little bit faster off the bat. Question will be whether the Pavels actually gain momentum. I believe their max speed is 16 knots. And so whether or not the upgrades are actually going to play a big enough part is another matter. It does seem... Yeah, Dutch Dutchery there is overtaking Michelle. So, mind you, actually... not sure on that one. I actually think he is... I could be wrong though. Let's get this to a more interesting angle. Oop. There we go. Okay. It's very slight. I'd be interested to know what knottage they're going at. And I don't think I've got any speed upgrades on mine at all. So I'm not really able to do too well. So admittedly, I think I am actually catching up to them. But in any case, frigate is marginally faster than the, I guess I think they're first rates. Yeah, Pavel 4-deck's got to be a first rate. I guess we'll check the shop once we get out of it. Oh, okay, so we've actually almost got 2 knots on them. Alright, that's very interesting. We'll jump out of the match, seeing as that's all over. We'll head back to port and we'll check out whether or not the... I mean, I'd never use it, but that's not too bad. It goes very nicely with our extra hammocks. And ship report letters seem to be coming in thick and fast. This is my second one today. They don't really have anything that I want to know in them, to be honest. Most of the information is far too old. Things move too quickly. We did use a repair, so we've at least made 1,600 on top of that repair cost. And it won't cost us more than a couple of hundred in port. In the meantime, we'll take a break for a couple of minutes. I'll see you all shortly. Okay, so we made it to port. I won't be selling off anything in particular at this moment. I did pick up a extra pump exceptional though as well. So I'd like the idea of having a bit of a more tanky ship, and with the extra pump giving bailing 20%, you can be on survival with damage much longer. So if you're just kind of holding out for that next repair, that's going to help out. Hopefully one day I'll be able to afford a ship with multiple upgrade slots, as opposed to at the moment where I've got the one, which for the moment is still going to be Pounder Monkeys. It's probably a bit dangerous for us to be running around with multiple upgrades in our hull, but I'll live dangerously. I don't really want to sell them at a ship where anyone can buy them. I'd rather put them in one of my nation's ports. Pavel's second rate. And that's to be expected. I guess they probably did want something to fill it out. Santissimas, Victories, first rate, third rate is Bologna. That's interesting. Yeah, everything's pretty similar still. Except, of course, this. So, port consumes these resources, so these are the ones you kind of want to bring, really. And port produces mahogany. So, you really want to look up trade routes and, yeah, get this information together. Well, we might wrap it up here for today. As usual, it's been Death Stimulator. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, do let us know, and please consider liking, commenting, favouriting, or subscribing, as your support does mean the world to me. I'll see you all next time.